Welcome to the Chillness Room, episode 6. I loved doing that sonnet the other day. I really felt inspired to do another one. And, I've been studying this thing called love, unconditional love, that kind of thing for a really long time and trying to understand it in my own way for a long time. And, unconditional love is just simply a really very easy idea, but it's not necessarily always easy to perform consistently. And so when I look at what unconditional love is, which is having no expectation of another person to love you, to do anything for you, and that the natural result is that you just feel more aligned with what's already being presented. And even in having no expectation of another person to show up, to do anything, to be anything, so that you feel better about them or the situation or whatever it might be, a natural result of releasing that expectation is that you feel more loved and more loving and are able to be more loving, because then you recognize that you only want to be in relationships with people who have no expectations of you, that you be different, that you change. And so it's this beautiful kind of experience, this beautiful dance. And it's effortless, but not at first. At first, it is challenging. It's difficult because all of our lives have been built on this idea that we trade, especially for, I think, Americans, we can tend to believe that I do this for you, you do this for me. And then we live in community, and when we live in community, we have these expectations that each of us show up in a certain way. And if the other one doesn't, then there's something wrong, or we've done something wrong, or something bad has happened. And so it's hard to believe that we can survive and that our community can survive, or that we can survive in a relationship if there's no expectations. And so it's natural, I think, to believe that we have to hold these these ends of sticks for each other, right? And once somebody lets go, then we have this belief that it's all fallen apart. Some of us have that, some of us don't, you know. I know I did. I was like, well, if I don't hold up my end of the stick, then they aren't going to hold up their end of the stick. And, we've got to make sure that everybody's doing right by each other. It's how harmony is created. Well, once I realized that's very flawed, because not everybody can hold up their end of the stick all the time. It what it does is it limits what love is, and it puts restrictions on it. And the sonnet I'm going to read to you in just a moment speaks to that, because love is always. It cannot be broken, it can't be torn apart, it can't be hurt or harmed, it cannot, if it's real, true love, it cannot be taken away, cannot be made less, it can't even be made more. And isn't that just a fascinating concept? That love is so complete within and of itself that it can't be made less or made more. So, this is Sonnet 116 by William Shakespeare. Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love which alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. Oh no, it is an ever fixed mark that looks on tempests and is never shaken. It is the star to every wandering bark, whose worth's unknown, although his height be taken. Love's not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle compass come. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out even to the edge of doom. If this be error, and upon me proved, I never writ, nor no man ever loved. Just beautiful from the bard, right? How did we get so tangled up all these years later? Because that is the truest truth about love that has ever been written, probably. Love's not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks. So it's not about, you know, only in the early bloom of, innocence of, love as a child, or as a teen or whatever. Um, it's not because you're young and just beautiful and all of these things, and then you grow into those advanced years and you say, wow, love is really only for the young. No, love is permanent. It's always. I love that when it says, or bends to the remover to remove, which alters when it alteration finds, or bends to the remover to remove. Oh no, it's an ever fixed mark. It's an ever fixed mark. There is no going around it. There's no shift in it. And you know that it's not love if it shifts in that way. You know that it's not love. So just as much as we can go, oh, I don't know what love is, we can say, certainly, I know what love isn't. Love isn't me changing myself for a partner, because love is a fixed mark. Love is not me twisting myself up and having expectation of myself and my worthiness to say I must change and be different so that you can feel better, so that you will love me. And it's the same the other way. I can't say to you, be different, change so that I can love you better. That doesn't work that way either. And I'm not talking about a love that's just romantic. I'm talking about friendships. I'm talking about family. I'm talking about everything. Anytime we hold that expectation upon another person to show up and be something that we want them to be, that's not love. You should have called. You should have said this to me. You should have done this for me. How come you didn't do that? You clearly don't love me because you didn't do these things to make me happy. And then the question becomes, well, if I have to be different, or if they have to be different in order for love to exist, is it really love? And the answer is no, it cannot be. At least according to the bard and according to the information that I've received over my lifetime. And so then we say, well, what is it? Well, it's infatuation. It's wanting to be needed. It's believing in our less worthiness. It's believing that we are not lovable. It's believing that we can't move into a harmonious place within ourselves to say, hey, I don't need you to be any different than where you are right now. Because I'll tell you what, if you really, really, let's just say appreciate and enjoy and are inspired by, and even just infatuation with another person, and those early peaks and blossoms of enjoyment and love and connection. And you're like, wow, this person really lights my light up, really dings my bells and whistles, right? Um, and then that suddenly fades because they did something or said something or acted in a certain way that was no longer pleasing to you. That's that's your key. All of a sudden, then you know what it really was. Now you get to change that. That's what's so fascinating. You get to change that. You get to go, oh, wait, that's just me having an expectation that they be different. Do I really, really, really need them to be different for me to be happy? Or can I accept them exactly where they are? Oh, it's so fascinating to walk this journey, really, truly, into understanding what love is and what it's not. And then you go, well, I'll just leave this and we'll start again with someone else. Well, wherever you go, there you are. And so that next person or situation comes in. Oh, what love, what love, what love. And then you go, wait a minute, they didn't do this or that or whatever. And then, well, then they have expectations to me that I need to be doing X, Y, Z. And it's, oh, that's not it. That's not it. Oh, well, let me try again. And then the next experience. And then you have those ones that never leave, right? You have the parents or the kids or the the siblings or the aunts or the uncles or the whatevers, and then you're like, you see them every holiday. You're like, wow, boy, I don't know. Do I love them, or do they need to be different so that I can love them better? Wow, that's an interesting concept, isn't it? So we think about all these things, and I know that this is the Chillness Room, and that's exactly what we're doing. We're just chilling on this idea of what love is and what it's not. I was like, oh, it's too much, Kara. You're making my brain hurt with all this stuff. It's like, yep, I know. But I'll tell you what's so satisfying is when you either express this concept or you just do it internally. It's better to do it internally for a while and recognize all those moments where you're like, oh, I'm judging this person for that, and they should be different here, and I can't love them here. Because there is an innate urge, I think, for most of us to love people. And when they act out in these ridiculous ways, it's so hard to love them. But if love is true, it's real and it's deep and it is the right thing, all that other ego stuff, the stuff that makes our head swirl, can be questioned. And once it's questioned, it can be shifted. Once it's shifted, then what remains is that which is always constant, which is love. It's always there, right? It's ready. It's ready and willing to be there. And sometimes it takes two, and sometimes it just takes one. Sometimes it just takes us. And so when we look at that and we go, wow, let's see how we can be different in this situation, it's really fascinating. Because I'll tell you personally what I've seen when I make love the priority instead, because it's a fixed mark. When I make love the priority and I say, wait a minute, how fascinating. I'm not nearly as upset about this as I was once. Or wow, how fascinating, how cute it was that they did that thing that I usually hate. And how adorable is it that they just did that thing that usually would upset me, but now suddenly I'm like, well, wait a minute, that is so adorable. that they that they're having this experience that is so challenging for them to move through, and they want me to be different about it, but I can't be. All I can do is beam love into this situation because love is constant. And since that consistency is always there, oh boy, I'm telling you, it's so much easier to fall back on a solid wall that love is, as opposed to just doing a trust exercise and nobody's there to catch you. It's a big difference. So lean back on that solid wall. Yeah, it makes a tremendous difference. And so as you're kind of considering these things and this idea and understanding things for yourself, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read that sonnet again, Sonnet 116, just to leave you with that. And then we'll continue with our day. And maybe you'll notice these moments where you go, wait a minute, I want to lean back on that love wall for a moment and just say, wow, that feels better. It feels more stable. It feels more connecting. Now, I'm not saying, by the way, I'm not saying that all relationships should be maintained. I'm not saying that all relationships are healthy, not by any means, because not everybody else is in on the same thing that you and I are in on yet. They don't quite know it yet. They only know what they've always been taught, which is this thing where I give, you give, I give, you give me the same amount I give. If you don't give me the same amount that I give, then there's something wrong and I'm bad or you're wrong, and then there's this big mess. But leaning back on the wall of love, it's like, wait a minute, I am supported. Love is a fixed mark. It's all good. So here's the sonnet again. Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love, which alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. Oh no, it's an ever fixed mark that looks on tempest and is never shaken. It is the star to every wandering bark, whose worth's unknown, although his height be taken. Love's not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle's compass come. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out even to the edge of doom. If this be error and upon me proved, I never writ, nor no man ever loved. Thank you for spending some time with me in the Chillness Room. This is a big topic, this big love thing that all of us have been somewhat mystified by. And there's always an argument for this way or that way or whatever. But ultimately, love is love and it's true always. It doesn't change. It's right there. It's always ready for you to embrace, to hold. It's constant and consistent. I wish you much love, friends. Much love, much allowing, much bliss, much connection, much truth in your life and experience. Have a beautiful day. You are very, very loved, and all is well.